Kazakhstan is the largest country in the world that does not have access to any ocean. Half of its territory is occupied by deserts and semi-deserts, which makes the nature of Kazakhstan harsh. Nevertheless, there are no less than 50,000 lakes located on the territory of our country. Hello, this is Taste Kazakhstan, and I am the host Aygiri Musagazhinova. I will tell you about the traditions and customs of the Kazakh people through its national cuisine. Lake Issyk is located in the picturesque Issyk Gorge at 1,700 meters above sea level. According to the data, it's inhabited by 150 species of birds and about 30 species of animals, including predators. The crystal lake and dense forest fascinate onlookers with their beauty throughout the year. And this is where I prepare the Zhau Zhurek dish. Each dish in Kazakh cuisine has its own history and philosophy. There was a whole series of dishes that were associated with the mother's love for her daughter. There were also dishes that were dedicated to sons. I want to know that in each region of Kazakhstan, these dishes were prepared differently. Some used a liver, others used a heart. But the main philosophy of this dish is that a mother wanted to save her son's heart from such an evil enemy as hunger. Zhau Zhurek translates as valiant, but if we split the word, Zhau means enemy and Zhurek means heart. We all know how big a mother's heart can be. She always puts care and love into every dish, and Zhau Zhurek is the dish that truly expresses these sincere feelings. The main ingredients of this dish are liver and caul fat. You can use cattle liver, like cow liver, but the caul fat must come from a sheep or goat. We will wrap the prepared liver in this caul fat. An interesting fact, the liver, wrapped in a film of caul fat, can go without spoiling for exactly 7 days. And now, we will start cooking our dish. To do this, we need to prepare the liver. We cut the liver into equal small pieces. The liver must be soaked in milk to remove excess bitterness. We've cut the liver. And now we will leave it to soak in milk for about 20 minutes. During the preparation of this dish, a mother always said her prayers and blessed her child. When our children go somewhere, our heart is always restless. Our liver is almost ready. We chopped it up, so we get these equal pieces. And now we pour the milk. The liver should soak in milk for about 15 to 20 minutes. You, of course, need to add some salt. Now let's move on to processing our caul fat. Caul fat is the thin membrane which surrounds the internal organs of small animals. We remove thick layers of fat and divide it into equal parts. Just like this. Back in the day, people used the caul fat when preparing meat dishes all the time because it helped preserve the meat and gave it a certain juiciness.
Сохраняла мясо и давала определенную сочность.
Any meat product wrapped or cooked in caul fat has a particular taste, and most importantly, it can keep the product fresh longer.
Это свойство дольше сохранить продукт. Вот мы подготовили.
So we have prepared our fat.
Пленочку. И теперь нужно ее.
And now it needs to be salted very well. The fat will absorb all the salt. Our liver soaked. Now we'll start wrapping it up. A similar dish can be found among other peoples of Central Asia. This dish is considered a nomad's dish and is very easy and quick to prepare. There are a lot of dishes in Kazakh cuisine, the main product of which is liver. For example, there is such a dish called balbaur. Balbaur means honey liver. But what is the secret of this dish? The secret is that the liver is simmered in fresh cream. Every Kazakh had a tail fat in his pantry. It was specially prepared, salted, smoked, and the result was a wonderful and tasty delicacy. We are done with the first stage of preparation. Look at how beautiful these things are. The presence of maternal love is evident right away. We need to salt it again and let it sit for a little, about 15 to 20 minutes. Not a single dish in Kazakh cuisine was prepared to be eaten alone. Each dish was always complemented by another. We will prepare a very tasty type of bread today. There are more than 10 types of bread in Kazakh cuisine. These are kattamanan, kushenan, zhokpanan, tabanan, paternan, and each type of bread has its own recipe. They all, of course, differ in preparation and by best buy date. Kattamanan is both bread and flat bread. It can also go without spoiling for some time. But what makes this bread taste especially good is the butter that is used in cooking. The dough is already ready. For every housewife, the dough is like a living organism. If you are in a good mood in the morning, then the dough will rise very well. On the other hand, if you're in a bad mood, this can also affect the dish. Therefore, I recommend always preparing every dish with love and in a good mood. The flatbreads should be small so that they could be easily wrapped and taken to go. Here is our butter. We wrap it all in dough and roll it a little.
И нужно будет прокатать. В основном
Mainly, all types of bread in Kazakh cuisine were prepared for later use,
заготавливались впрок. И
and all of them could retain their freshness for a long time.
свою свежесть. В этом и была
This was the distinguishing factor of these types of bread.
хлеба. Почему называется это
This flat bread is called khattama because it consists of several layers.
нескольких слоев? И получается
The end result is very crispy and tender.
и нежный. Вспоминаю свою бабушку.
I remember my grandmother, how she used to prepare hot bread every morning and poured melted butter over pieces of hot bread.
Топленым маслом. И это блюдо,
And we call this dish majmanan.
когда я пробую, чувствую
When I try fresh bread, I can smell the hot bread sprinkled with melted butter.
самые дорогие.
These are my most precious and warmest memories.
И я думаю, что
And I think that each of you has the most precious memories associated with hot bread and butter that cannot be bought for any money.
которые нельзя купить ни за какие деньги. Наша кухня
Our cuisine is like a cradle that, in our memories, brings us back to our native lands, to our homeland.
в свои родные края, на свою родину, на свою родную землю. Каттаманан мы
We cook khattamanan on a dry surface, but I recommend greasing it with a little butter.
смазать сливочным маслом.
Use just a little bit. Don't overdo it. Let's take our ready-made flatbread and put it on.
Немного руками нужно.
You need to press it a little with your hands so that it bakes thoroughly.
Почему мы выпекаем?
Why do we bake on a dry surface? Because we have already added butter to the dough itself.
Добавили масло. То есть
The butter inside the dough gives our flatbreads a very tasty aroma.
это дает очень вкусный аромат нашим лепешкам. Казан жапа.
Another type of bread is kazan jappa, which means cover with a pot.
Казан хорошо.
Before preparing kazan jappa, the pot was made burning hot, and only after that the dough was put on top.
Размер этой
The size of the flatbread depended on the size of the pot.
размера казана. Если
If the pot was small, then you would make a small flatbread.
ну а если
But if the pot was really big, then the flatbread would be large and would be enough to feed a whole family.
такими лепешками можно было накормить всю семью. Лепешки
The flatbreads are ready, and now we'll start preparing the main dish, Zhau Zhurek.
блюдо Zhau Zhurek. Казан
The pot must also be dry.
сухим. Сочность
The coal fat will make the dish juicy.
жировая сетка. Готовить нужно
You need to cook it for 15 to 17 minutes since the liver cooks very quickly, and the main thing is not to overcook it. The liver should remain tender.
оставаться нежной. Каждая хозяйственная женщина
Every housewife can skillfully distribute food. And we have a little liver left, which we will use to prepare a very tasty dish called balbaur.
блюдо бал-бауэр.
Add a little milk.
Блюдо бал-бауэр
The balbaur dish takes 15 to 20 minutes to prepare, but you must keep an eye on the heat so that the liver does not dry out.
потому что это блюдо такие
Because this dish is called balbaur, honey liver, so the liver should be very soft.
печень должна быть очень нежная.
Our dishes are ready. Today we have prepared 3 healthy dishes: Zhau Zhurek, kattamanan, and balbaur. And I recommend seasoning the balbaur dish with camel qurt.
верблюжьим куртом, так как верблюжий
It will give the dish a certain aroma and piquancy.
аромат и пикантность.
Bon appetit!
Аппетита! Сегодня наш выпуск
Today's episode has come to an end. I think that you learned not only recipes for new dishes, but also expanded your knowledge about the history and culture of Kazakh people.
нашего народа. Встретимся
We'll meet when preparing a new dish in a new place. Welcome to our tasty Kazakhstan.
вкусный Казахстан.